Hey man, Prashant, how you been,
Hey,
bro?
what's up, my bro?
How
What's up?
you
What's
doing?
up?
I'm good.
I
I'm good.
am. I'm gonna be honest. I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of not okay, but just kind of bouncing in and out of not okay and being okay.
What?
Well,
Why didn't you
yeah.
reach out to me, man? What's up? What's up? What's bothering you, man?
But first of all, I'm glad to see you, man,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that you are okay. You're doing what you're doing, and you're fine. Let the smile on your face, bro. So yeah, about me, the thing is, since I've not been um we haven't talked about stuff for quite some time,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I don't know, maybe it's the weather, it's the time, or something which is stopping me from doing exactly what I'm supposed to. My whole routine
Hmm.
is different, my mind is in different places. So I'm not the same. I'm not feeling the same as I'm
Because
supposed to.
you are not at the same environment, man. You've just moved
Yeah.
back to India, right? So
Yeah, I've just
how's
come
India
here.
weather treating you now?
Yeah,
It's
I mean
crazy,
I
man.
mean, yeah, people are great. Especially I'm glad I've got to see my family here.
Yeah.
I'm glad to meet everyone, all
Hmm.
of our friends. But you are not here. They
Oh,
are.
I'll
So
I'll come soon.
yeah.
I'll come soon to India
Yeah.
now just to meet you back in India again.
Well, let's see. Well, the thing is, so it's been great, but this place is so fucking hot, man. This place is so fucking hot. I was like, I barely get out of the house. Maybe that's one another reason, because I barely get out of the house. I don't get that much of sun. Because the thing is, the sun here, either you get a whole lot of it, or you don't get
Hmm.
anything.
Hmm.
It's that bad. So, it's just this, it's the mornings. I mean, I wake up, I still wake up early in the morning. I sleep at the time that I used to, back when I was, when I was in Liverpool. But the thing is, there has been some shift,
Hmm.
in how I used to, plan my day, and that has kind of changed, because I'm practically kind of not doing anything else much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has changed a lot. So yeah, it's been kind of that. How about you? Anything change? Any
No,
big
just
changes in your life right now? Anything?
I guess not so much with my routine, I'll say. But yeah, with the
Mm-hmm.
productivity, I've made few changes on,
Mm-hmm.
tracking things. That has been good in the past 1 month or so. So yeah, things are moving, trying to push it harder
Mm-hmm.
while I can, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I remember
focusing a
last
little
time you
bit
told me
more.
that you're gonna get a diary and you're gonna, start
Yes, I've
scheduling
just
stuff and
man, I've
kind
just got
of
my diary right here.
plan stuff. Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's sometimes you go off track, and that's where I
Mm-hmm.
think my diary helps me in a way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I make it a habit, at least opening it up once by the day
Mm-hmm.
end, or either on when my day starts. So that way I have track of what I need to do the other day or the day that
Mm-hmm.
has been just started. So yeah, it's been really helpful just to
Yeah.
have the clarity, and then have that to do list, I'll say.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
idea. I think I should get that into my own daily functioning. But yeah, the thing is, that's a great idea. I mean, since we're talking about it, I was thinking about this thing right now that, we have come so far,
hmm
how you were, back like a decade ago.
mm,
We can, oh, that's surprising right now that we can say that a decade ago,
yeah.
we were still like we were out of college and, kind of, not really, we were in college, but still a decade ago, we were different, and what
Completely
we are
different.
now,
Yeah.
completely different of how we see things, and a little bit of change in my schedule has upset me, that, oh, why am I not doing this right
mm,
now? Even a little bit of change, because I was so used to this daily routine there, and I was so happy with it. that now that I have discomfort, that I don't do the same thing. I'm not doing the same thing, right? So yeah, so let's why don't we talk about the personal development, the kind of growth that we have had throughout the years, and how this that what has this been impactful in any sense to you,
Hmm.
or
No, yeah.
can it be something that whoever is listening to us right now, can it be useful for them as well? You know, what has led you to into this?
What has
So,
led me is a very good question.
mm,
Uh
why are you doing this? Like, why did you, you know, practice,
no, it's
start
it's
practicing what
something
you're
that
doing right now?
it's something that you realize, I think,
Mm,
with age, right? Because you
mm,
cannot go doing the same things, or
mm,
same shit over and over again, right?
mm.
So at end of each cycle you realize, okay, like at the end of each mistake you'll realize that I don't want to make it again, but you still
Yeah,
end
when you
up
said
doing it
cycle, I
again and
was like,
again.
what do you mean? When you said cycle, I was like, what do you mean? Menstrual cycle? What do you
No,
mean?
no, it's like, your cycle of making mistakes, right?
Yeah, man,
You
okay.
go in loops until you get out of that loop, right?
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
where, it clicked to me that, I'm doing the same things again, I'm making the same mistakes again, and this is not getting me anywhere. That was the first thought that came to me, which led me into
Mm,
personal development or personal growth per se, where, I started analyzing what am I doing, why am I doing,
mm,
where
mm,
would it take me, is it even
mhm.
worth it, you know am I spending my time in an organized way to what will give me the results, or, I'm just, living my life day in day out. What's the difference between, me or an animal, right? So I had these
Yeah.
sort of questions always popping up in my head after, realizing that, I'm in the same loop over and over again. And this came back, while I was in last year of college, I'll say, where, everybody was working around, or, was
Mm-hmm.
already in search of their placements, their jobs. And I was like hopeless. What do I do next? What am I meant to do in this world? And uh, and then slowly I realized, okay, you don't know anything, so you better get to know yourself first before, going into the wild. That's what I did,
Like,
and
what do you
that's
want? Before
yeah.
get to know, like, you should get to know what you actually want to get into before you just blindly take on any job and be like, ah, okay, let's do this and let's make money. Because
Yeah.
that's exactly what, that's exactly what, because since you mentioned it, because that's exactly what I did at the time. It was
Hmm.
like, I didn't give a fuck about shit. I was like, okay, you know what? I need to make money. The only thing that I had in my head was like, right after college, I have to go somewhere. I have to make money. I'll get
Hmm.
on track. Doesn't matter when, what, I'll have to make money. That's
And I
the only
think
thing
I,
that I
I think
had.
my first job was with you guys only, right?
Yeah, yeah, we were working the same kind of the same area and the same company. Yeah, same
Same
company,
company.
maybe I guess. I don't remember
Yeah,
that
we,
many
we
times, but
joined in
yeah,
the same company, but
yeah, we
I
did.
left it in 6 months.
Yeah, so you did. So yeah, that's one. And then that brings me to this question that probably, I guess, everyone out there, who doesn't know it now, must have this very valuable question. What does personal development mean to you, and how has it impacted your life now? I mean, from that to now, what how has it impacted?
I'll give the second answer first. It has impacted very positively
Mm-hmm.
towards my life. It has changed it
Mm-hmm.
completely. The perspective I have right now,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me look forward to, my next day, right? I know what I need to do. I'm more planned, I'm more organized, I'm more happy, right? And it's not about,
Mm-hmm.
controlling yourself, or, controlling your environment. It's about actually, having mindfulness around, whatever you are doing. It could be any small thing, or it could be, doing nothing, but you are
Mm-hmm.
mindful about it. So that is, the impact that I had over the years after, doing this personal development and growth. And if you talk to me about what does it mean to me, it would mean right now, or since the day I've start, it's about improving something or the other, or learning something or the other every day. That has been my motto. So if I learn even one thing each day, I'm a happy man. So, and even if I don't, it doesn't mean that I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be sad, but it's just that
Mm-hmm.
I feel that my progress is getting derailed, or it's getting slowed down. So the it's continuous improvement for myself, in simple words.
Okay, that's interesting because because we both listen to some influential people out there, and they have these protocols. One that I can think of right now is from Andrew Huberman. One of his protocols says that in order to be someone better, you have to learn something new. I don't know about every day, but you have to learn something new. You have to get into something which is difficult
Yeah,
so that you make mistakes and learn something
absolutely.
new.
Yeah.
Because that
So you
is
have to.
something that is going to help you grow, right? That's something that's going to
Yes.
help you grow. And that's a
So
part of your personal development.
yeah. So until and unless you move out of your comfort zone,
Hmm.
there is no growth. So if you are, where
Yeah.
you are, you are not growing.
Hmm.
That's a clear indication of that. And
Hmm.
the way to track it is uh by just journaling your day-to-day activities, what you have been doing. Like,
Yeah.
just write it down, what you did in the morning, what you did in the afternoon, what you did in the evening, what you did at the night. These are the four
Hmm.
easy
Yeah.
parameters, right? You could easily identify, okay, I went to the
Mm.
same people on the same time, and what was the outcome of that. I did this for
Yeah.
last 2 months. You can just simply flip your pages and you'll get to know, right?
Hmm.
And that's where my diary comes in help. Like, I can rectify the issues.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not
Mm.
doing something productively, or maybe
So you can just
I'm
pinpoint the problems at the
pinpoint the
at
problem.
any
Yeah,
day of the time. Is like, oh, this is a repetitive problem.
this
This
is
is
a
a repetitive
repeatable.
mistake that I've been
Yes,
making. Yeah.
this
Okay.
is a pattern of myself, and that is how
Yeah.
I would rectify it. I'll find it, I'll analyze it. Maybe the days that I do exercise, right, are the
Mm-hmm.
days that I stay happy. I
Mm-hmm.
check my gratitude notes. It's visible, right? The day I do exercise,
Mm-hmm.
that night, I'm more grateful for all the things
Mm-hmm.
that I have. And the days that I don't eat properly, or don't drink enough, or don't engage in exercises or anything else,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. So in that way, you have to identify yourself. You have to identify what comfort zone you are in, and where you would
Mm-hmm.
want to go. It's as simple as that. You'll have to then identify the steps and take it forward from there.
Yeah. The thing you said, I can think of this thing. Imam Ghazi said that comfort is the enemy of growth.
Absolutely.
So if you're comfortable, if you get comfortable somewhere, just move right out of it. Just move right out of it. I think that's a really powerful thing that he said. And every time that I've heard this thing, or I'm just saying it to you right now, I can hear myself, and I'm like, that's so true.
Hmm.
That's so true. So good points. That personal development is about self-awareness, always learning something new, and maybe as like spiritual awareness as well. That's
Yeah.
also something that we can club into it.
Yeah. For you, Prashant, can you share a turning point or a defining moment that actually led to a significant growth for you? Like, the point where you realized, okay, now this
Mm-hmm.
has actually made a change in my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was this is the story of my life. This is
Mm-hmm.
where I made a change, and
Mm-hmm.
that is how much it has impacted my life since that day. Any instance that you could recall?
Okay. Well, because I am also in that journey where
Hmm.
I'm trying to make myself better.
Hmm. Hmm.
Make some
It's a never
changes in
ending
my
journey. Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a never-ending journey, but I'm also there, and I've started to make some changes in my life, throughout these years now, And the pinpoint that I can remember where I actually uh, started adapting all of this,
Mm-hmm.
because I was so low, and I was unhappy with who I was, and who I
Mm-hmm.
was around, the people I was around with, and I was hanging out with. They were not bad people,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, it's the kind of change that I wanted to see. There was a time, and that's when, back in 2021, I had a fallout in my relationship. I was unhappy with the job that I was into, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then I was always irritated with, with my own family, and like I was
Mm-hmm.
not happy with them, in the sense, whatever they used to come at me with, I used to take a different meaning of it, as like because, and
Absolutely.
then, like,
It
why are
happens.
you
Yeah.
yeah, why are you getting into my life,
Hmm.
and
But what
um
exactly made you to come out of that? Like, what was that moment, or what was that video that you saw? Maybe it was maybe a
mhm,
friend that you looked at and say, okay, I want
mhm.
to go that way, or some inspiration in the books. What was the actual trigger? If you look back.
Well, if I look back, I mean, someone who inspired me, who kind of helped me to help me in making me think
Mm-hmm.
that I should make that change now. I would say that I back in that time I was not into listening to podcasts that much, but
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to, not listening to it, like, kind of, maybe the algorithm worked in its way, and I got to
Mm-hmm.
see some of Jay Shetty's podcast
Mm-hmm.
things on YouTube. you know um
And how did you implemented those things? Like, because when
yeah,
you are
because
in that
at that
space, the hardest thing is to, get started, right?
okay.
Now, suffering is actually the true test of life.
Yeah.
So David Goggins says it all the time that
Mm.
suffering, what you do, when you are suffering, is the true
Mm-hmm.
test of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
while you were in that phase, how did you,
Mm-hmm.
overcame it, and with what enthusiasm?
Sagar, I mean, I am self-motivated individual. Okay,
Mm,
if I see myself going downhill, or if I see myself not feeling great, I usually tend to motivate myself, and
mhm, mm,
come back to me with these questions, that why are you feeling this way?
mm,
What is going on? And then I try to answer these questions to myself. you know and I remember this that time when I was all into I started listening to these people,
mm,
when
mm,
they were talking about how failures are not, they're not defining you,
mm.
and if you feel low, you can always get better and stuff like that.
Yep.
you know and at that time, I can't specifically just call out one person out there who helped me, and I can just say this, that I was listening to a lot of guys at the time, and I kind of had me thinking that, why not make that change?
Mm,
If you're not happy in this, if you're, let's say, if you are watching a movie,
mm,
right, and you don't like the movie, right, it's totally something that it's out of your taste. It's like, whatever is going on, I don't want to see it.
mm.
You can always change the movie. You can always turn off the TV, and you can always restart it with something else or whatever, right? You can watch something else.
Yep.
So you always have control on your life, as in the same
You
way.
always have
If you're not,
choices. Yeah.
yeah, you always have choice. You don't feel good about it. You think you can do something. You should do something about it. And this one thing that I can think of right now, with Jay Shetty, I think he said it, that failures are only failures when we don't learn from them, because when we learn from them, they become lessons. So that time, when I
Mm-hmm.
was not the same, and I was not doing great at anything which I wanted to, be it the way I wanted to live, and I kind of started. rethinking everything, and then started making decisions and make things happen. That's when started. I changed my job, where I could just see myself do
Hmm.
something better, grow into something which I love.
Hmm.
And I mean, all of this can be done only by changing some habits, changing a routine, or the mindset shift that we're talking about. How did that happen, right? So if I have to ask you, because I'm sure
Mhm.
you have gone through all this too,
Yes.
and that's how we can relate about this whole the growth that we have been into. Can you share a specific habit or a routine, or the mindset shift, the mindset shift that has been instrumental in your success? I know it's journaling is one
Mhm.
of that habit, but apart from that, someone who doesn't like journaling, you know who doesn't
Ah,
like journaling, something they don't like
mhm.
to talk about, what can they do?
To be very honest, like I would say I've tried almost all the methods out there every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, and I wanted to understand what suits me more in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I've tried waking up at 4 a.m. I've tried working all nights.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried journaling. I've tried cold showers. I've tried everything, to be very honest. And I now that I've tried all of them, and it's not that I've tried it for one day. I've dedicatedly given at least minimum of 3 months to each habit just to try it out over
Mm-hmm.
the period of time, over the period of years, to understand myself better, right? And then to implement what's working out the best for me. And it could be
Mm-hmm.
different for each and every one of the
Mm-hmm.
people around, right? So, and it doesn't have to stick. You doesn't have to basically stick to it. You can
Mm-hmm.
always evolve, or you can always put a twist, your
Make
own
some
twist into it.
changes.
Make some changes
Yeah,
based
some
on your
changes.
requirement, because at the end of the
So
day,
it does, so that it doesn't get vanilla for you. Like sometimes people don't, they don't
yeah,
like to stay in one routine. They can kind of
yes, yes,
like mixing things up. Mm-hmm.
exactly. So like I started it with journaling, and that's a proven a record for myself to come out of that phase. So I've
Mm-hmm.
now started again, because I thought that or I was feeling that I was hit the plateau, right, where I was not giving that extra push to myself. And in a similar way, I've tried everything else. So
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone should try at least one or two, or at least minimum of five methods before they make a choice. And they can always evolve, change, put their own twist, and basically
Mm-hmm.
take it forward from there. So
Like what would be from journaling? What like you tried all of the other things.
hmm.
Apart from journaling, what is it that has helped you to?
I've read a lot of books on
All right.
I love reading books. Read almost all the personal development books available, all right, in the
Mm-hmm.
market at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I always keep reading, like that's the genre I love, and that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the motivation, or that I get in my during my bedtime, which helps me in my
Mm-hmm.
journaling, and then planning my day. So I think reading books, listening to podcasts now these days, because it's so readily available. Back in the day, it was not so available, right? And we weren't aware of all of those things. But one thing that was very easily accessible to me was books. So I remember once I left the college, once I started my first job, that was the time that I actually started reading books.
Mm-hmm.
It started slowly, but then it gradually it opened up my mind quite a lot. So I'll definitely recommend anyone to go out and
Mm-hmm.
get this habit of reading books.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. And I can say this, and for some people, who lack concentration,
Hmm.
who have maybe
But there
ADHD,
are
or
ways, yeah, but there are ways, like you can have
there are
it.
different ways. Like, yeah, obviously, there are different ways.
You
Yeah,
can listen to audio files, right? You doesn't have to
yeah,
look at the book. You can.
yeah. But the problem that I'm talking about right now is that with guys, with someone who has ADHD, who
Hmm.
can't pay attention, and people who don't like to get into routines, and even if they do, they kind of they can't stick to it, and they kind of throw themselves out of it. For them, I can personally say that if that happens to be the case, that you do try something and that you get out of it, you can't
Mm-hmm.
stay in one, this one routine. It's
Then
okay.
again, yeah, it's okay.
It's
Failures
absolutely
are
okay.
only failures. That's what we just said.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if
it's
you let
absolutely
that
okay.
failure, on top of yourself, right, and you just quit, like, quitting is not
Mm-hmm.
an option.
Mm-hmm.
If you are on that
Yeah,
journey of,
exactly.
yeah, if you are on that
Yeah.
journey of personal growth, quitting is not an option. That's why you started. You need to remember why you started.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense if you quit. There was a
Yeah,
reason you started
exactly.
it, and until you
Mm-hmm.
go and get that achieved, or
Mm-hmm.
by the time, and now this is very interesting, by the time you achieve that,
Mm-hmm.
what you started it for, your personal development
Mm-hmm.
growth for,
Mm-hmm.
you have already forgotten about your end goal. You start to enjoy that process so fucking
Mm-hmm.
much that you
Yeah,
don't
that's
care
true.
about the result.
That's true.
Like, it's so blissful, it's so amazing, that now you don't even care,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that
Mm-hmm.
is where I'll say your personal enlightenment happens, where you realize,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I was bigger than all of this, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
better than all these things, and now I am so much more ahead in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
now the doors, or the ways for me are so much more wide and open, which were a construct that you already created in your life before you started your personal development. So I
I think
think
that has more to do with the positive psychology,
exactly the
and
mindset.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I read this somewhere that even this is science based, I guess, that the research says that positive psychology, it supports the idea that personal development leads to increased well-being, to life satisfaction, and it can
Hmm.
also help you in it can probably also help you
And
in
people have
strengthening your
routines,
relationship.
like, even naturally, if you look at the nature earth, right, it has its own routine, right? The
Yeah.
sun comes up, the sun goes down every day, right?
The sun
So they
comes up
have,
and goes down. There is a song that I can think right now.
okay,
I think it's
so
Big Time Rush.
coming back,
Yeah.
coming back.
But anyway.
So
Mm. Mm.
if the nature
JLS.
has the
I don't know.
routine, right?
Forget
The
it.
nature has the
Mm-hmm.
routine, right? The high tide, low tides have a routine, and everything else has a routine. So as a humans, you need to have a routine. Now it could be productive or it could be non-productive, but
Mm.
you would have a routine. You
You
would
still have a
have a
routine.
pattern.
Yeah, you have a routine to be non-productive.
Non-productive.
Yeah,
That's as simple as that,
that
right?
is true. That is
So
true.
it's a matter of identifying whether you are you growing. Now
Mm-hmm.
growth cannot just be related to productivity, or how much output you are
Yeah.
giving to the input you are
Mm.
getting. But overall, as a human, right,
Mm-hmm.
personal development would mean, overall, as a human, how much am I growing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when would I become a Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to identify the steps to be a Batman,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you don't have any goals, or if you don't even fucking care about personal development, then
Mm-hmm.
be it, like, be it, it's fine with me, or with anyone around you, if they're happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not
Mm-hmm.
what you want, that's absolutely fine, right? I'm no one to judge or critique anyone,
Mm-hmm.
you out there. But if you really want to make a change in your life,
Mm-hmm.
there is no possible way where you would
Mm-hmm.
get it without making a change in your habits, in your routines, in your
Mm-hmm.
attitude, uh in your behavior, on in
Mm-hmm.
people around you. So you have to work on all of those things, and that's where the whole personal development comes in.
Mm-hmm. That is, I can just think of this right now, that since you mentioned it, the routine thing, right?
Mm,
It has a lot to do with, with the habit formation. You know,
mm,
it's you get into routine when you make it into a habit, right? And people who start something and then they don't do it, they kind of stop it, and they cry about it, and they'll be like, "Hey, this is not who I am, and I can't do this." They start every time they start will start something and they'll not, finish that thing, or
They'll find
they're always
excuses.
sad.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they'll find
excuses. They're
excuses.
always
Yeah.
sad about things that, oh, I'm not feeling great and
I
whatever,
think
right?
for people
So
who give excuses, they should
mhm,
definitely go and watch David Goggins.
they
Like
should definitely go. Yeah.
that guy, that guy will,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
definitely
He
pump them
is.
up.
He is. He is. And I have this because I was some time back I was watching Raj Shamani's I hope I'm saying the name right. Shamani's podcast, and these two guys, Mitesh and Indu, they came on the show and they were talking about the laws of attraction, stuff like that. And the guy said,
Mhm.
he said that people who who crib about stuff and who always say that who always make excuses, they make it a habit. It turns into a habit every time they're gonna do some things, and they start something and they're not gonna finish it. It turns into a habit, and that's what they should stop doing.
They put
Stop
that,
making
yeah.
bad habits. Always make good
They,
habits. That,
they
oh, you know what,
put that,
I've got this.
th-
I've got this. I have to do this.
they put
Always,
that in
always,
their
yeah.
mind, in their
Hmm.
subconscious mind by,
Hmm.
constantly repeating it. Like we have already
Yeah,
discussed,
yeah,
the power of manifestation, right? So if you
yeah,
constantly, demean yourself, or,
yeah.
if you constantly say, okay, I'm not worth it,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just kind of,
maybe
I
not
can't do this,
capable,
and
I
I'm
can't
I'm
do
not great
this,
at it.
right?
Yeah.
Anything which is negative, and you constantly, think around that, or, you feel that, okay, why, do all the bad things happen just to me, right? So all those negative thoughts turn into a routine, which then, makes it a
Hmm.
habit. And that habit is subconsciously, sitting behind in your subconscious mind, which then,
Yeah.
is the first response that comes out. Just like,
Hmm.
when you drive on the road, your first
Hmm.
response, if you see someone just in front of the car, is to put the brake. That's how,
Yeah.
how strong those routines, or, those habits are. So we have to be very, very careful of, what you are
Hmm.
feeding into your brain. It's
Exactly.
not at all,
Exactly.
it's very simple, but it's also very complicated, because then you have to actually sit and talk to yourself. That's where, meditation also comes in.
Hmm.
So until and unless you're ready to face yourself, or, to
Yeah.
identify, okay, I do lack here, how do I
Hmm.
improve, there is no way
Yeah.
that, you can actually overcome it. So it's not something that, I come to you and I say, okay, Prashant, you have to do this, you'll be fine, you'll be like, a rock star, man. It's
Yeah.
not gonna happen that way.
And there's this saying that I think it's pretty common now. Everyone knows and everyone says this, that nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to come and save you. You have to save yourself, help yourself.
Mm.
That's the only best way that you can make any change in your life or anything that you want to. And so from this conversation, pretty great conversation. From this conversation, I have gathered that, we're going to sum it up, that to anyone who wants to make some change, who wants to make a personal growth, development in their life, they they need to make a routine. They need to have a positive mindset, about things. And if even if you fail, don't worry about it.
Just try the
Don't worry
next
about it.
day.
S- Try the next day. Even if that thing doesn't work, try something else. There are
Mm.
so many different ways that you can uh make some changes in your life. And I would personally say that listen to the experts on how to make those changes. David Goggins, Andrew Huberman, he has everything science based, and he has those good information that you can be like, oh, okay, he's not just saying stuff, he knows, and this is backed by something. So you can watch these
Mm.
guys, or and I would also say this, that I think this is also something that has helped me, is when you talk about reading, right? You like reading, Saga, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Not everyone likes reading, right? But I would say this: Read quotes. If you can't read the whole book, read quotes.
And try to understand them.
Read read those famous sayings and write them down or put them out there and right in front of you. You know, so because they are actually magical. Because when you read just this one line, and that can make a great amount of change in your mind at the time. You know,
Yep.
it
Yep.
can lift you up. Always do that. And Simon's like he's one of the you know guy who always says stuff, and I'm like, okay, he's saying something, and that's totally powerful. So listen to these guys and understand what they're trying to say. Uh, kind of practice that in your life. Practice multiple things. That's how I got into it, and I'm still practicing. I'm not saying I've changed myself whole. I'm still practicing, and I'm still learning the whole thing. And but things have helped me. I am off
Mhm.
track too sometimes, but I try to get back in.
Yeah, we all are.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So nobody is great at stuff, great at just being who they are, who they want to be, but they just kind of even if when they fall off track, they kind of get back in. you know so we don't get to hear these time where these great speakers and these influential people, they were off track. even if Even when they were successful, they might have gone off track
Yep.
with their own routine and stuff, but then they get back in. That's how they get better. That's how they're still better. So that's what we have to do. And that's what my take on this
Yeah.
is. You
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
anything to add on this, or you have
Yeah,
got
I
anything
think
to add?
I agree. Like, you have, if you fall 7 times, you have to stand up again the eighth time, right? That's how it is. If you really are, going for towards your goals,
Mhm.
quitting is not an option, like I said. And then I think another big one is whoever is, planning to start this journey, or
Mhm.
whoever is right now in this journey with us,
Mhm.
you need to stop seeking validation from others, and every day just, validate yourself.
Yeah,
Validate to
and I do.
what you were before and what you are now,
Huh.
and how where you
Mhm.
want to go, what are the steps. That's it. It's as simple as that. Just look back, realize, implement,
Mhm.
and then go on about it.
And don't worry about people who criticize you or something behind your back. And I'm gonna quote Robin Sharma here right now.
Mm-hmm.
That this is one thing that he said: the change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Go back, listen to this thing that I said again. You will know how powerful that is. Just keep going. If you derail, get back on track, do something.
Yep. I think your I can is more important than your IQ these days. So just
That's
have
yeah,
that
that's
I
something he said
can.
too.
Yeah. And I think
Exactly.
everyone should have that attitude of positive
Hmm.
attitude to reaffirm that I
Hmm.
can.
Hmm. There are some people out there who listen to these great guys talking about stuff, then telling you something that you should adapt in your life will change it. And they take a different meaning of it. They interpret it differently. When someone says that you need good sleep, optimize your sleep. It's really powerful. Then some guys decide, oh, you know what? We are going to sleep 12 hours a day, and then only you are going to be efficient. I mean, I don't think that's what the guy is trying to say.
Let's not go there,
Because
Prashant.
yeah, I mean, but the thing is, it came to me. I mean, always when someone says optimize it doesn't mean you have to sleep 12 or 14 hours a day.
Hmm.
Then only you will be functioning. That's what you have to change. That's not what we were made for. We were not made to sleep.
Exactly. The
Even
optimum
if you sleep
sleep
six
is like
hours a
six
day,
to eight hours. Yeah.
yeah,
That's the
even if
max.
you
Yeah.
sleep 6 hours a day. And I heard Chris Williamson say this. Okay, he said that the most successful guys out there, you think they sleep 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day? They don't.
No. No.
They they probably might sleep 4 or 6 hours a day, and they get back and they
With
do
the same
what the
energy,
shit they
yeah.
want to do. Sleeping is not the only solution. Like if you go out there and you're like, oh, I don't
Sleeping
have the
is
energy because
escape.
I need to. Yeah, it is in a sense. I mean, I that's something I just want to put out there because it that does not mean that you're going to be most efficient. Some people different get it, but that is something that is going to make you fall behind
So
if you
sleep.
think that you're going to sleep.
Let's talk about sleep. What is sleep? Sleep is the time that we shut down our
Mm.
eyes and our body is in the
Mhm.
recovery state.
Yeah,
Everybody agrees with that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Sleep is the time which we give to our body to recover to function the next day. So fundamentally, if you are taking longer to recover, there is
Hmm.
something fundamentally wrong with your body already.
Yeah.
If you feel that you need 10, 15 hours of sleep just to function
Hmm.
well, there is some underlining error going on with your metabolism, right? Or
Mm.
with your
Yeah.
hormones where you're not able to get that energy within 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it could be your low testosterones, your dopamine levels. They kind of make you all, lose all the energy, and then you will like, oh, okay, honestly, that's you have to make sure that you're in the right state of mind when you do that, when you practice
For
that.
all the
Don't
lazy
just fall for it.
fuckers, for all the lazy fuckers and lazy ass people, I'll
Yeah,
recommend David Goggins any day, anytime. That guy puts so much energy in his content. Like
yeah, it does. It does.
I, I
You
feel
watch
like,
him and you be
just
like
standing off my
yeah, you watch
chair
him and
and
you're like,
just going for a
yeah, it's
run.
like I'm doing something wrong. Why am I just listening to you right now? I should go and do something
I should
right.
do
But
something.
that's what you should be doing. I mean, nobody is perfect, we get it, but just don't take it an excuse that like we have to sleep, you know. I have to sleep to be efficient. No, that's not the right way or at the attitude to do things.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, but yeah, what I'm trying to say, this is one example. All the other things that you hear and listen, just try to make sure that you adapt it in the right way. You know, if you want to sleep, take short breaks. You can sleep during the day for take a little bit of nap, but just don't sleep straight for 12 hours. That's one thing I'm telling you right now, that it's not gonna make you efficient or gonna get you where you want to. Because I have heard no one say this,
Hmm.
that I sleep 14 or 12 hours a day and I am on top of the chain.
Yep, that's true.
So that's one. Um, all right, well, I think this was a great discussion. I am motivated right now. I was
Hmm.
feeling low because I did not get the time to do something, to the stuff, do the exact stuff that I do every day for
Hmm.
this week, and now I feel better. I think I'm gonna get back on the same thing, which I wasn't sure of. What am I doing right now? And but I'm gonna get back, take my
That's good. That's good to hear, man.
notebook, and I'm gonna write things again.
This was
I'm
a
gonna do that.
productive time. I think our audience also, learned something, or if not learn something, at least,
I mean,
have some references, right?
I have, you know, I would really ask you guys to, if you've gone through the whole podcast, write down in the comment section what made you who you are right now, what changes you're doing right now, what you want to do, how is it helping?
Or
Maybe
maybe,
there's something that
just put
we have
that
not seen.
comment and then, come back in a year and check, where what changes you have made to that,
Yeah,
comment, and have you made it to that comment or not?
exactly.
Use it as a
Just
diary.
write down that I'm gonna make this change and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Write down in the comment section, you know, and then look back and maybe years, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Just come back and be like, have I done this or not? Did I make a change? And we are all going to be happy about it. We're gonna
Great, man.
celebrate then. Yeah,
What a wonderful session, Prashant. Thank you so much for you taking
yeah,
out this time. I know it's hard.
yeah. I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man, but
You're a busy
I
man. I
just
know.
couldn't say no to you, bro.
I know. I know. And I was just missing you too much. So thank you so much for taking
Yeah.
out this time.
Well,
And
thank you
hopefully
too.
we'll
Mm. I'll
discuss
see you
something
next
more
week then.
interesting next week.
Yeah,
Yes,
see you next
let's do
week.
it.
See you next week.